After this last presidential debate, there has been in the news this Plumber fellow, Joe, because John McCain kept using Joe, the plumber. He's a plumber, I guess, in Ohio. McCain kept using him as kind of a prop, a talking point, over and over again in the last debate. So I've uncovered a little bit of stuff on Joe that's been reported in the newspapers. There's pictures of the debate. That's in the news pool room, in the last presidential debate, and the media, to its great credit, the New York Times and I think another newspaper, the Boston paper did an article on it, and I can post them in the links. They've been looking into Joe a little bit, Joe the plumber. Oh, and here's how Joe became famous, and I didn't realize this. Joe actually had the guts. He made the gutsy move to get into Barack Obama's face. He got into Barack Obama's face, and he asked him about high taxes. And high taxes are destroying my life. Sort of. This is the Republican beef. Oh, well, that was Joe. Now, here's Joe's modest house. It is modest. Now compare that with, that's Sarah Palin's house. Now, Sarah Palin, that's a $500,000 house there that Sarah has. It's new. It's what, 2 years old? Or year old or 2 years old? And we still don't really know how it was built and who built it. Now, there's Joe's modest house. Now, we could compare Joe's modest house to John McCain and Cindy McCain's. How many mansions do they have, or how many houses and apartments and things? Is it 8? Or is it 8 or 7 or 9? And there's some in California, and there's some in there's Washington. There's two in Arizona, or 3 in Arizona. So it's California, Arizona, and then there's Washington. Okay, well, Now, Joe, he's calling himself a plumber, and probably does know plumbing, but he's got a problem in that he's not a licensed plumber. Now, I don't know if you can get sued for not having a license, or I don't know, or I don't know what the rules and regulations are, but and Joe says he wants to buy the business that he's working for. Now, it turns out that the unlicensed plumber, Joe, there's only 2 other people working in his company, the owner and somebody else. So it's not exactly like it's a huge operation. And besides being unlicensed, Joe has financial problems because, as the media revealed, he has had 2 liens for unpaid. Well, one is for unpaid taxes, not to the federal government, but to the state of Ohio, on his modest, as you can see, modest house. And the other was a lien for a medical bill. Now, the medical bill, I don't know how much, but my guess is that perhaps he's not insured. Either doesn't have health insurance. And that's because the great Republicans don't believe in health insurance. And companies don't believe. They don't really believe in giving their employees health insurance. They say sink or swim. You get your own. You get your own. And that's the Republican thing. You get your own health insurance. You shop around and see if you can't afford it. And if you can't afford it, tough. So I'm guessing that either his child he's got custody of a kid, so his child got sick or he got sick and he ran up a big medical bill. And so he's in trouble like a lot of Americans. One final point to make is that if the recession continues and people can't afford houses, and they probably can't afford plumbing jobs, unless they're, the construction and plumbing, I would guess, is all going to be affected by the Bush-Cheney-McCain recession. And that's because regular working people can't afford houses, and they can't afford improvements, and they're in debt. And so this recession is going to hit everyone but the rich.